Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, out here in beautiful Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. This is the FWS World Series 2018, and we are presenting to you guys the UCI BMX Flatland Finals. It's happening right here, right now. I am Ryan Meyer, host of the FWS World Series, joined by none other than BMX legend Daryl Now.
Well, Ryan, it's very nice of you to say, but I got to be honest, it's so cool to be here in Edmonton. Stop 3 on the FWS World Series. We have one of our final events. It's BMX Flatland, and it's one of my favorites.
It's an absolutely amazing event, but let's talk about the location. We moved this year over to Louise McKinney Riverfront Park. We were situated in a larger expanse of urban parkland just outside of the city. Right now, I tell you, we are directly in the middle. It doesn't feel like that with all this greenery around us, but we are very close to the Canada Centre and to the Shaw Building. Make sure if you guys are in the vicinity, you come down and check this out. It's the last event of the day, and it is going to be a spectacle. The top flatland athletes around the globe have conglomerated here in Canada. They've met up in the Mecca here, and this is where it's going to go down. I want to give a big shout out to Explore Edmonton, as well to the city of Edmonton and the province of Alberta for welcoming us with such open arms to their absolutely beautiful nation of Canada. If you guys are not able to join us out here in Canada, make sure you go and follow the respective handles on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Check us out on Facebook, which is a FWS.official, as well Instagram and Twitter at FWS World. Hashtag all your posts, FWS Edmonton and FWS World Series, to stay involved with all the action out there today. As well, Daryl, you can follow him on at Daryl Now on Instagram, and myself at Late Night Rai. You can hit us up with any content you guys are thinking of during the event, after the event, things you want to talk about the series. We'd love to hear from you guys back home. Let's take a look at the FWS World Series map. I mentioned we're in Canada. You can see that that is stop number 3 on the map. We started things differently, not in Montpellier this year, but in Japan. Hiroshima, to be in fact. Then we moved over to Montpellier, France. 22nd year in a row. Happy again to come out of that one with an absolutely amazing turnout of athletes who have now followed us and the series over to Edmonton. We're going to be moving for the 4th stop to Budapest, Hungary, start of September, and then finishing it off first weekend of November in Chengdu, China. Like we always do, very happy to go back over to Chengdu and see what action brings us there. So we've seen that global series, one of the top action sports festivals going on in the world, and the biggest action sports festival for amateurs and professionals alike. You see right there all the athletes on the course. We usually take this time to discuss what are the top features on course. It's flatland. So we basically have this course sculpted. Daryl's put us down on that.
We definitely can talk a little bit about the course. It's a flat surface, as you just mentioned, but it's perfectly flat. We have Alex Jumelon and also all of the UCI technical delegates making sure that we've got this surface that will be perfect for the world's best riders. We had our qualifications, our semis, and we're getting ready for our finals up here. But this is a tour where we had stops around the world, and it's a points race. So let's rewind the clock a little bit to Hiroshima, where we can take a look at Alex Jumelon right there on the front wheel. You can see him finding that balance point, just rotating his frame around. Right here is another rider who's going to be in our finalists today. That is Vicki Gomes, doing it for Madrid, Spain. You see him rocking the colors, the jersey, the Spanish jersey. You can see putting the foot over the top tube. And Vicki getting a very solid run right there. But it was all about Matthias Dandois in Hiroshima, the international superstar, doing a one-handed mega spin, standing on top of the frame. And Matthias right here just jumping over the handlebars. You can see cross-legged enthusiasm from Matthias, winning the crowd's heart and also winning the 10,000 points for him to get first place in Hiroshima. Well, then we moved over to our staple, our flagship event in Montpellier, where 600,000 people come over the course of 4 days. One of the main features of our event from the inception has been flatland, and this man you're seeing riding, Alex Jumelon, who will be in the finals today, has been in every single event from its inception and also has worked in making sure Flatland is properly represented. So you see Jumelin doing a lot of front wheel trick focused out there, but here we have Matthias Dandois again just rocking it as far as the crowd support, love, and that front wheel. One hand off, one foot, wrapping around, and there's that energy. Look at the body in bike position, hands come off, the back wheel is so close to the ground, but not touching, as Matthias Dandois is just going into overdrive, supersonic speed, and the precision, putting the feet back to the pedals. And look at that, Matthias holding up that first place, getting the 10,000 points. You see Alex Jumelin in second, and also we had Moto Sasaki in there for third. Well, let's take a look. We're going to zoom over to the side where we have our Grand Masters. We have 3 lifetime dedicated Flatland judges and riders. We have Alexei Desilnu coming from Germany. Then we have the legend who was out of retirement and now back, Morty Kopa. And then we have from Japan, Kotaro Tanaka. Those are going to be your 3 judges, very respected within the Flatland community. We will talk a little bit more about them. If you know anything about Flatland, you know those 3 names. They are so respected. Well, Ryan, let's talk a little bit about our format. We are breaking this down. We had our qualifier, which is open to all riders, and then we wound up having our semi-final. Brought us to 8 riders. They're going to have 1 run with 3 minutes on the clock, and they're going to get a score after each run. It might seem simple, 1 run each, 3 minutes are on the clock, 1 score, but that is all you have. 3 minutes to make magic happen and make the impossible go down. That is so difficult to do. If you are one of the 8 riders who wound up qualifying in the finals to even make it here, that's a feat within itself.
Moving forward, we're talking about those top 8 riders. How are they getting scored out here? We've talked about a very experienced panel of judges. Now we've moved through the format. How does this art form get judged?
Well, a big part is progression of the sport. It's just you, your bicycle, and the flat earth. So you have to make sure that you're doing difficult tricks. Originality and style is such a big part. They want to see variety, not only the tricks you're doing, but the bike parts that you're actually going to be focusing on. And then it's all about consistency and control. If you step down or step off your bike, you'll be heavily penalized for that, but you still can continue as long as you utilize that entire 3 minutes.
As you're going over the recap of the FIS World Series, we saw some of the top athletes, but 2 names in particular stood out, Alex Jumelin and Matthias Dandois. Let's take a look back at yesterday's semifinal and see who came out on top. See right here, Alex Jumelin ended up winning the semifinals. It was a battle of Jedi and young master as well. Alex Jumelin, the man who has competed, like you said, Daryl, in every single edition of the FIS since its inception, came out again on top. A man who has redefined his art form and his riding style to stay on top of the podium. An absolutely amazing feat, but it wasn't just him alone. He was down there battling it out with the first place qualifier, Matthias Dandois, until the very bitter end. He did come out on top, but it was a very tight battle. I'm very interested to see how this is going to link up for the overall today.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Alex Jumelin has been such an influential figure in Flatland, you see his style right there on the front wheel. He's reinvented his own style throughout the years, but he's always been one to really help foster younger talent. And believe it or not, Matthias Dandois was once his pupil at one time, and now for the last few years, they're great friends, but they go back and forth battling it out. They're 2 very competitive riders, and it's so interesting to watch in real time this competition unfold around the globe as they basically transfer back and forth.
Let's look down on site to see who our riders are today.
Edmonton for the 3rd stop of this FIS World Series 2018. My name is Quet, and I will announce the top 8 riders. Edmonton, are you ready? First rider comes straight from Japan, Matsudo Shiba. Make some noise for Moto Sasaki. Japan as well, Nagoyashi. Make some noise for Ishizaki Eidenori. Straight from Berlin, he just broke the finger. Make some noise for Kevin Nikolsky. From Chile, Santiago, make some noise for Benjamin Hudson. From Madrid, Spain, please welcome Vicki Gomes. He comes from Canada, Kirkland. Make some noise for Jean-William Prévost. Come from Paris, France. Make some noise for Mathias Dandois. And he just took the lead on the semi-final yesterday. Please make some noise for Alex Germain. Okay, going on in Edmonton, you know the top 8 for this BMX UCI Flatland World Cup. If you want to take business now or never, top 8 warriors in the room. Okay.
And there you guys have it. Those are your top finalists out in the Flatland Pro Division. Let's take a look at the FIS World Series standings and watch how it's going to unfold. We can take a little bit of a foreshadowed look.
So right there we see Mathias Dandois, as we saw in our recap, 2 first-place finishes. That is why he has 20,000 points. Hiroshima and Montpellier came out on top. Alex Jumelin with 17,200 points, followed by Vicki Gomes with 16,700 points, and then the Japanese rider Moto Sasaki with 14,400, and then your defending 2017 champion has a lot of room to make up. We're talking about none other than Prévost, 13,600 points. So you can see right there, all of our riders are looking for those coveted points in the finals. If you get first place, you wind up getting 10,000 points. Second place, 9,000. Third place, 8,200 points, and so on as you work your points backwards. But right now, we're looking at all of our riders on the screen. They are ranked in reverse order. So it means that Moto Sasaki finished 8th in our semifinal.
Moving forward to his Shizaki and then to Kevin Nikolsky, who we just heard broke his finger. He's had some ice out there and tape. Hopefully he's going to be able to ride. I was just seeing it looks like he has a lot of pain in his face. Moving over to Benjamin Hudson and so forth down the list to Vicki Gomes, Jean-William Prévost, Mathias Dandois, and Alex Jumelin. So we're going to split those into 2 heats, and in between those heats, you're going to have the 4-minute break. This gives the judges a time to gather up all their information and make sure they're on the same page. Right now, it's all about Moto Sasaki from Japan.
So we got the 3 minutes on the clock. 180 seconds right now. Each one of them count. Our Japanese rider and all of our riders completely dedicated to the craft of Flatland, put in countless hours, hundreds, thousands of hours, and look at that, starting things off with the Carl Cruiser right there, putting that bar end right to the ground. Sasaki's stepping cross-legged. Oh! I got to give him some points right there. The way that he was able to finish his link, leaning over a little bit, putting the arm out, some extra style right there, and that is what it's all about. Flatland has progressed from when it first was started in the 80s and 90s of doing single tricks stationary to then you had movement put in with scuffing, and right now you're seeing it's all about rolling. You could see how the momentum that Moto did by pumping his front wheel with the pegs built up the speed, and now he's able to gracefully turn the bars around with his feet on the pegs, utilizing that back end tire. So Moto right now is about to round 120 seconds to go. So we talked about the criteria, Ryan, being consistency, and Moto is starting things off great. You want to make sure you don't touch down. A big part of Flatland now in 2018 is all about body positioning. Which way can you lean and twist your body while standing on your pegs? And if you're going to have big hops like that, you are gambling. The level of difficulty goes up. When I'm talking about a hop, it's not necessarily like in street where it's a bunny hop. It's more jumping from one bike part to the other, as opposed to just staying focused on one position. And you can see Moto with his left foot on his front right peg. He twisted his foot around as he changed directions of the bike, and there was a big hop where he switched feet from his left foot to his right foot. So it's a gamble, but hopefully this link will pay off big. As you can see the body position right there. His foot goes on the handlebars, putting his other foot on the pedal. Big combination for Moto. Yes. So right now, he's got to work the clock, Ryan. He knows that he has just about 60 seconds. You see him taking a look over there, and he's got to say, all right, what combinations do I have that I could work within that time limit? You want to throw down a big trick, but you want to back yourself not into a corner saying, oh, I got 20 seconds left. What am I going to do? So right there, putting the back end up, front end down, Carl Cruiser scraping the bars.
Moto Suzuki has such an amazing ability to get on that front wheel and put it in an angle, like you said, that just going over as the bars were backwards.
Almost hitting that pause button. Moto's a past Nora Cup winner. That's where you're selected by your peers as being one of the best riders for that year. So he's definitely a crowd favorite, but also a fellow rider favorite. And Moto's also put out a ton of videos on the internet where he focuses on super long combinations. So we're seeing him go cross-legged, so beautiful how he gracefully stepped onto that peg right there, having some difficulty stepping off, throwing up the double deuces, and getting the big round of applause from Edmonton.
Great run from Moto Suzuki.
So as we talked, each rider is going to have an opportunity, 3 minutes to strut their stuff, display their best talents out on the course. But it's that gamble. How hard are you going to do your tricks versus how consistent are you going to be? But as we zoom in right here, you can actually see Moto. He's on his brand new bike. That's a signature bike, his own company, Wagwan, where you can tell that frame is just all to his likings and his specifications. As we are getting the zoom in, you're going to see each rider has their own style, not only with riding, but also with the bike. We discussed that yesterday in terms of our competition a little bit, but we will touch upon that as we progress the competition. But that's one thing you want to note. A rider is allowed to set up the bike any which way they want. That could include having the pegs which he's standing on his feet. Could also involve having brakes. You could have 1, 2, or even a coaster brake on the back. It's all about the uniqueness and originality. But right there, we talked about body positioning, and Moto is just dripping style as he's putting his one leg back, getting that front end really in a position, and a great score, setting the bar to beat 81.16. So Moto doing it for Japan, putting a very, very respectable score on the board.
Okay, he comes straight from Japan as well.
So we are going to pass the torch from one Japanese rider to the other, looking to tag team things out here.
And talk about different styles in this discipline. You will definitely notice as Hidenori takes the floor how different his riding style is compared to Moto's. Moto has a very fluid, fast pace. This is going to be a lot of reverse riding and a very tight, consistent, slow motion.
Yeah, look at that. You talk about setting on the bike backwards right here. I think everybody has sat on a bicycle and tried to pedal down their driveway backwards. Well, imagine doing that with manuals. Imagine doing that cross-legged getting into it. I had a chance to talk to Hidenori a little bit earlier before the competition. He was so excited and honored to make it to the finals. Said there's definitely a lot of stress confidence and nerves going into an event like this. And it's something where if you do have more experience and you've entered more competitions, maybe someone like Jumelin or Dandois, you've got that experience going into it. But Hidenori rode awesome in our semifinal, and right now we're hoping that he can tap into that same energy, that relaxed Zen place, which he displayed yesterday. So right now we're looking at him going backwards. Here we go, getting it started. Oh, trying to step through. So right now, Ryan, this is a difficult part for a rider. It's 3 minutes. You're battling yourself mentally out here. You might have done these tricks 1,000 times by yourself, but not in front of a live crowd and not on the world stage as we're being broadcast out over 40 countries. So you got that pressure, and you got to make sure you keep it cool, calm, and collected.
Yes. This is how it works.
All right, finding the groove right now. There we go.
An absolutely amazing way that he holds his bike basically the entire time with one or two hands behind his back.
Oh, yeah.
And all these links that he was getting right there, all the transitions and the switches, almost doing them both with one hand, never taking his left hand and putting it back on the bike. Quite amazing, but just not getting the full finish to that link as he touched the foot down.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're able to execute all the way between your combinations of tricks. But there you go, cruising backwards. Love the way that he's just holding on with the one hand. Great way to transition. There's that balance point. His right hand's on the grip. Take a look at the handlebars. He switches arms. So difficult when you see the speed like that. We saw with Alberto Moya yesterday, one of the riders who is just known for a very slow pace. And it doesn't mean that if you're going slower, it's actually less difficult. Some might say it's actually quite the contrary, because you have to really keep your balance point going, especially with no brakes on the bike, such as Hidenori has. We're going to talk about the bikes. Hidenori rocking an S&M intricate frame. I know that Chad Johnston is watching right now, cheering on. That is a double diamond frame welded in-house at S&M. Going to give a shout out to Chris Moeller and the boys. I know we got Dougie Fresh in the building saying, come on, Hidenori, get the combo. And so difficult right there. Backwards, foot on the pedal, and trying to find that balance point. Got to give him a lot of props and respect. Seeing the Japanese rider take a bow in both directions and get that big round of applause.
Yeah, and that is just what you're talking about as well. You're battling yourself out there. You aren't having other competitors on the rink with you. It is just yourself and your mind. When you end up not getting the combinations, not having the run that you're expecting, the time is not stopping. You have no timeouts or a pause button. You have to keep going, but it's a mental game at that point.
Yeah, Hidenori using that backyard position a lot. He's actually going in both directions with it as well. It's so crazy to just see unique different styles from two Japanese riders. Used to necessarily be with a certain riding style, whether it's riding park trails or even flatland. If you lived in a certain geographical location, you had a style, you could tell where it's at. But in 2018, it's such a unique mishmash of styles out there where two riders can be from the same area and their riding styles are completely different. So we're seeing the uniqueness out there. It looks like he's going to get a 53.33. Not the best of scores, but very great for him to be out here and see his unique riding style showcased to the world.
Next rider up, reigning from Germany, and specifically Berlin, the capital. This is Kevin Nikolsky, putting in a tremendous effort and one of my favorite flatland athletes to watch out there on course. But if you see him favoring his ring finger on the right hand, it's because he just smashed it and probably jammed it or dislocated it. He's still going to try and do this. Let's see. Kevin Nikolsky right now on course.
Yeah, Nikolsky getting right down to action. Kevin's bike is definitely very street-oriented in terms of his setup. That means big handlebars, and the geometry is something that you'd find more on a setup of a rider who does not necessarily depend on the little nuances of a flatland bike. It's so flat specific these days. If you wind up having your forks or your handlebars be a millimeter in either direction, you could feel it. And Nikolsky is definitely one of the new breed who is pushing the flatland style bikes. Now, Ryan, you mentioned that on his hand has a potential broken finger. I had a chance to hang with him prior to the event. His hand was in ice. He showed me that his ring finger actually has a Canadian tattoo on it, and it has a broken finger right there. He said it might be a sign. Either or, he said he was going to put it all out of his mind and just ride with his heart. And we're seeing it right here, up on top of the bottom bracket,
and
the foot
into
going
the
over.
Time machine.
Yes,
Kevin Nikolsky getting that link, the second one out of the gate. Looks to not be hindering him that much.
Who knows, maybe even the pain might give him something to focus on and take away from a little bit of the stress or pressure of riding on a world-class event.
There we go.
Kevin, definitely a gambler with this riding. Another one who does enormous hops going over. There you go. You see the way that his foot went right up and over, switching sides. But when you gamble like that, it can definitely pay off big on your score. Yo!
Yeah, Kevin.
Put another one in the checked off column of getting it done in his run. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty right here. Got the final 70 seconds coming up. Nikolsky.
Nikolsky having a lot of practice time in by the spray in Berlin at home. Ooh. Look at this as he does the bar spin within that hold. Very signature trick that we see from Nikolsky. Wow, absolutely amazing. Getting back up into a cross-legged.
Yes, the Autumn rider throwing down big. We mentioned Autumn being one of his sponsors. They definitely focus on flat and street riders, bringing it together. And you can see that perfectly with Nikolsky's setup and the speed which he has. Started things off, bars are backwards, stepping over. Look at the hand position.
Here he goes into a very cool way that he transitions, hop back over again. Absolutely amazing switches within this combination as he goes so fast in these rotations.
You actually saw right there Nikolsky go down. He wound up curling around his hand to not put down his broken finger. But big run for Nikolsky. Edmonton loving the style of our Berlin rider. You can tell the way that he's holding his hand right there. Definitely a lot of pain, but got it done. So impressed with Nikolsky's riding out there. See, when he's giving any high fives out there, he's choosing his left hand to do. His right hand is injured. Let's take a look. You see our MC Quet getting him hyped up. Again, all eyes on that right hand. His ring finger is broken. It was clearly jammed right before the competition. Got the head in the game and got it done.
These switches are beautiful that he does. There you go. There's that clicked one. Spinning totally on the rear wheel, locking his back leg in between the seat there, and hands off while the bars spin. Here are the other ones where he goes switch back one, switch back the other way. Both on one foot, hopping from peg to peg side.
It's got to be tough. Judging, but it's score to beat.
Score to beat right now. You see a Moto Sasaki on the screen is an 81.16. Kevin Nikolsky qualified in front of Moto, and he's looking to do justice. He's going to do good, an 82.83. He's moved into first place right now. Kevin Nikolsky from Berlin on top here in Edmonton.
So then, you know what you have to do.
And then we see there was one other rider in this heat on course before that 4-minute break. It's Benjamin Hudson. The young rider has developed his own style. He's been competing for years on the flatland scene, but you will notice he has such a unique way of displaying his riding. as well as a specific lower seat than all the other riders. You see there, he grabs his rear wheel completely instead of holding that seat. That is a very unique move from Mr. Hudson.
Yeah, Hudson hopping to pedals. Not only do you see the unique bike setup, so he's got that clearance, he's also riding for Far East Cycles. Our defending champion, Jean-William Privot, is the brand manager, also has his own company, IGI, IGI, and he sponsors some of our other riders out there, Benjamin being one of them. Do yourself a favor, check out Iggy's Instagram. There's some really cool parts that are on the way, but right now Hudson is rocking. You could really see the weight difference in his bike compared to some of the other riders, especially when he's hopping to his pedals. You see it actually elevate or lift off the ground. I believe his bike might be sub 18 pounds, which is pretty remarkable.
Wow, beautiful link right there. Switching, amazing switching. Oh, just getting off.
So Hudson from Santiago, Chile. I know all of our Santiago riders at Zignal Skate Park are cheering on right now as Hudson steps over. Oh!
Getting tangled in this one. Clock is still going, a minute 30.
Trying to get out the web right there. That was his bicycle wrapped around his legs. So now Hudson has to get back in the mental game.
I've seen Benjamin pull back from mess-ups like this in the past. Let's see. Wow, going cross-footed, reverse on the wheel.
Talk about the pressure to have to deliver. You have 3 minutes. You're looking for perfection. Our 3 Grandmasters.
Wow. These switches are incredible.
Our 3 Grandmasters, Alexi Desildu, Marty Copa, and Kotaro Tanaka are saying, come on, Benjamin.
We'll take that one. That's a contest make for sure, Benjamin Hudson.
50 seconds to go for Hudson. Look at the back leg. The silhouette is so cool. Winds up stepping over. You see the bars just wind up getting away from him. A little bit of a fumble there. There's that pump. The goal is to roll in 2018, and you see that. Oh, slow-mo with the step over and also putting the hands up right to the sky. Just look at the grace here. It's about the speed and pace. Wow. So you see Hudson look over at the clock, knowing he's got 15 seconds. It's going to definitely impact what choice of trick he does as the final 10 seconds here. Ooh, dicey. Let's see, going up on the back wheel.
Decade. And that is going to do it for Benjamin Hudson's first run. And as well, for our first 4 athletes, we're going to have to wait for the score to come in, and now we are going to have that 4-minute break, gathering all the other 4 athletes on course so they have time to warm up, get the muscles flowing, and as well give the judges time to tally up the scores, talk over any differences that they see, make sure everything is in sound order. We have a heavy hitting field of athletes as I look down on the Flatland course right below us. Jean-William Privot, Matthias Dandois, Alex Jumelin, and Vicki Gomes, the top Flatland athletes in the world competing right here in Edmonton.
Well, right now we're looking at Benjamin Hudson's highlights. Again, focus on his frame for a moment. Look how low the top tube is. It gives him a lot of clearance. That's where some of the selection of his tricks lie. But I really dug how in control Hudson was. You see him grabbing that back tire. Some riders might grab the seat, but because of that low top tube and also the low seat, it gives him the clearance to grab that back wheel. But I just really, one of the highlights, just the pace. There you go, whiplashing the frame around, spinning the half bars, grabbing the pedals, utilizing that clock to the end. But Hudson really working his own pace out there. So Nikolsky's score is an 82.83. We're going to see what Hudson gets. It's going to be a 77.26. Unfortunately, not enough to be in the 80s. Hudson, though, had a great run. Definitely had a little bit of difficulties out there. Got to give you props, though. That showing was amazing. And my favorite part was the slow pace of being in control, taking the hands up, and also just guiding the back end around. So let's look. Nikolsky's going to be in top. 82.83 is the score to beat. Moto Sasaki, 81.16. Benjamin Hudson with the 77.26. And then we have our Japanese rider, Hidenori Ishizaki, 53.33.
As we move into the next top 4 qualifying athletes, your number 1 qualifier in the semifinals from yesterday was Alex Jumelon. Let's go down for a little word with him.
And 15 seconds left.
I've been riding for so many years and competing at FIS since 22 years right now. My style changed a lot, my tricks too. It's my way of keep being on my bike. That makes a big difference at the end because it shows up, then I want to bring something new to every season. Some of the tricks I'm doing in my run, like let's say in 2014, when I won the final, it was the 720 nose. I got that 720 nose in my head since like 10 years. So it's always like doing a trick, but you don't know which year you're gonna be able to use it and do it properly in your run. It's always trying to think far in advance in the combo. Like the last winter, I was going a little bit too deep into some back wheel, tech move. And recently, when we did the first FIS this year in Saudi Arabia, I totally understand that it was too challenging to do in a run this year. So when the combo is not ready for 1 year, maybe it'll be ready for the year after. It is challenging, but at the end, being on the bike is just so much fun. I mean, this is what I love the most.
35 seconds to go.
So we are back. You're looking at the man who talked about his tricks and progression. He mentioned, yes, years it takes for him to sometimes think about developing and bringing out a new trick in a contest. Jumelin for the last few years has been very front wheel focused. You see right there him actually doing a couple spins in that balance point. But Jumelin is definitely a rider who brought back boomerangs in a big way. That's where you wind up spinning around the handlebars, holding on with the frame stationaries, keeping the wheel down. A lot of riders basically stopped doing that when scuffing and certain variations came in, but everyone started really putting it back on the map when Jumelin brought that in. But I do want to give a lot of love to Jumelin for being involved on so many levels with Flatland, but it's the true passion. I know there's a lot of riders around the world who might think, hey, you're a top rider, you're a pro, you get everything handed to you. It's blood, sweat, and tears. Jumelin, he's big into fitness, he's big into teaching in other ways and supporting his sport and passion. Also, his family couldn't be more behind the sport of BMX freestyle. You can take a look for his wife, Elodie, out there along with his 2 children who are going to be cheering him on. But right now you can see the Spaniard, the colors of Madrid draped on the legend. We got Vicki Gomes who's getting ready to warm things up. So we're going to do the same format. 3 minutes are going to be on that clock. We are going to start with the 180 seconds as the legend of Vicki Gomes weaves another tale in 2018 here in Edmonton. Vicki starting things off on the back end of his bike, having a little difficulty, and you can see already 2 minutes and 45 into his run.
Vicki Gomes, man, who is very respected out here in the world of Flatland, doing some incredible demos all around the world. Oh, we're missing that link right there.
Yeah, Vicki, very hyper-focused on riding. You can check out his Instagram. Some really cool, unique content. Puts a lot of effort into his BMX career. Ooh. For years, you heard the name Vicki Gomes, also side by side with one of her judges, Marty Copa, 2 lifelong friends. They actually had a bike company together, KGB, I believe it was Copa and Gomez Bikes. Cannot get closer than that. It's nice to see lifelong friends still doing it out here. Copa is a legend on the bike. You could be ripping it up with all of her riders out here, but look at that, Gomez going up and over, decade.
Yes. Getting some old school tricks back in there.
Yeah, just want to highlight all of our riders have not had any breaks on the bike. So when you see something like a decade, maybe if you rode back in your day and you said, hey, I had brakes on my bike, it's a totally different experience. I couldn't even fathom the idea of getting into a decade being brakeless, but the same thing that happened with BMX Park, where most of the guys reinvented the tricks.
Whoa,
that
nice
is what
switch
happened.
there. Full bar spin, jumping back on to the pegs while still keeping that whole bike in a nose manual.
Ooh. Oh. Now, Vicki has a big bag of tricks and a lot of years that he could dig in. Some riders you might see a little more focused on one part of the bike, but Vicki tends to be an all-around rider where he utilized not only the front end, the back end, but also putting it upside down. Vicki's got 40
Just
seconds.
Coming off there, he knows that he is not having the perfect day out there today, but trying to put it together and get some solid links in before that time runs out. Pumping it, as you see there.
Oh, you can tell Vicki is just heavy watching that clock, knowing how important it is. Vicki rolls not only forwards but also backwards, and look at that, building the speed. He's definitely a guy who took a lot of stationary tricks and made them roll. And at the buzzer,
It wasn't the most perfect run for Vicki Gomes, but it was great to see the show from the young Spaniard. Living in Luxembourg, but still doing it for his motherland of Spain.
Vicki Gomes finished 3rd overall last year. Looking to get some more of those points right here as we look under the hood of Vicki's 3 minutes. Holding onto that back seat, crossing the legs up. So impressive, using his height right there, almost rodeo wrapping the frame around, taking his hand off. Look at that reach for the grip, flipping the bike upside down. So difficult to be in these positions, finding the pedal, finding the peg rather, and look at this. This is where he found the pedal, going up and over, getting a couple of rotations up there, and then having that decade around brakeless.
All smiles though. Vicki knows that that was not going to be a top score. Gave a bit of a wave off, but still a good one nonetheless. 4th place for Vicki Gomes with a 73.33. Good show so far.
And then there were 3. You see those names on the bottom. Our defending 2017 champion. He just happens to be a Canadian, and he just happens to be a back wheel destroyer with high speeds and high velocity spins. You're about to hear Edmonton go nuts as our MC Quet is getting ready to welcome in your defending champion, Jean-William Prévost.
Like you said, the defending 2017 FIS World Series UCI Flatland BMX champion, that he won that title just a year ago here in Edmonton.
Look at the speed. Look at the speed right away, just lighting the fuse of the 3 minutes.
Absolutely amazing rear wheel rider here.
Tossing the bars around, Prévost building it back up, that momentum. You see on his opposite foot on the peg, getting the speed and using the height to his advantage. Prévost is a long, lanky rider, and he has that really transfer into his riding in the best way possible, where you can see he'll tweak his body and bike in positions that no other rider can do.
So quick as well with that combination. Great start to this 3-minute heat.
Prévost riding for Far East. Also, you can see the colors on the back of his jersey. Iggy, that's his own parts company. Spent many a year over in Asia learning the language, also learning the connections of how to get behind manufacturing to make the parts he wants. Supports and sponsors other riders out there like Alberto Moya and Benjamin Hudson we saw earlier, but right now it's all about the Prévost show.
Wow.
Oh.
And Prévost is on. And it's on. Wow, Edmonton is totally behind the Canadian local out here.
This may not be his home province, but this is the motherland for J-Dub.
Prévost currently sitting in 5th place in points for 2018. Wants to get a high score to try to knock Matthias Dandois off that top spot. Look at the positioning!
Amazing, amazing.
Completely contorting his body around the bike, putting his foot on the peg, undercarriage style. Look at that, using the height, stepping to the pegs right there. Some riders you see doing that on the pedals, but he's got the long legs and he's using it to his advantage. This is a rider who definitely brings his own unique body style to the course.
Getting up on the pegs. Oh, still, we will get that one. A little bit of a pedal slip.
The fact he's able to then build momentum, look at the combo that started.
30 seconds left on the clock for J-Dub.
The winds are starting to pick up here in Alberta, and it's caused by Hurricane Prévost as the speed is building. He's got 20 seconds to dig deep. This is a long time for a rider to be out there having to keep that balance and utilize their muscles. Let's see, Prévost. The storm is brewing. Yes.
Wow, what an amazing sight to see out here in Canada. John William Prévost, phenomenal run for the Canadians.
You can feel the love coming from his fellow countrymen as he put down a fantastic 3 minutes. What a storm.
As we take a recap look at J-Dub's run, some highlights out here. As you see, he uses that lanky body, as you were saying, to get some contorted movements and some very unique riding style. Absolutely amazing switches in some of these links. That was just the first 2 combinations of his run.
Yeah, the Far East Cycles rider. So impressive. Look at that, stepping around, putting the foot on the peg. You have to be completely twisted to the side, but keeping your body position and your weight so that you can have your balance while spinning around. I don't have to tell any of you, that is no easy task. This is why we're witnessing the world's best riders. Had that little slip up, but the fact that he hopped back to his pedals and then literally jumped right back into another combo showed you that it was not something that was totally squirrely or a full-on crash. Obviously, our 3 judges, Alexis Desaulnoux, Marty Kopa, and Kotaro Tanaka, are going to know what score to give our rider out here.
So we are waiting for those scores to come in. The score to beat is from Kevin Nikolsky, the German athlete on top there, and he's going to do it, an 85.66. J-Dub is your new leader out here in Canada. Wow, an amazing score for an amazing run from the Canadian in his homeland. But pushing forward to your second place finisher from yesterday's semifinals, a man who has been on top of the FIS World Series in Flatland for years, but just finished under his mentor Alex Jumelon yesterday in semifinals. It might go down for a battle of the Frenchies. And that means with the French-Canadian. This is Matthias Dandois, about to get his 3 minutes going in Edmonton.
Feel the energy and the love for the Frenchman. Matthias is a superstar. On and off the bike, a natural talent, and someone that we're blessed to have as a friend and a rider.
Here we go for Matthias Dandois run.
Matthias starts off so often with these street-influenced tricks.
The first one is done, and well done.
So Matthias, our current leader, to first place, looking to make it number 3. Matthias just has a natural finesse that he brings out to the floor, and that's something that I definitely want to highlight as we see Matthias spinning around, putting his foot right up on the handlebars. That is definitely a new foot position that we have not seen from Matthias. tweaking his bike all the way to the side. The hands come off. Full control, grabbing back onto the seat, stepping over. Let's see if he could exit out of this cleanly, Ryan.
It looks like he's still getting this combination going. Matthias is one for the long links, and here we go, another one. But cleaning it up perfectly, Matthias Danois. That was just link number 1, and we are almost a minute in.
The thing to watch with Matthias is how he works the floor. There's very little wasted movement and space out there. He has a very good knack of his surroundings of where he is and also his perimeters. He started riding Flatland in his backyard just outside of Paris. His dad built him a backyard deck that was a round circle about 20 feet, so he's really good with spinning and riding in small spaces. Foot goes up on the bottom bracket, his left foot on the pedal, going over with the right foot.
Time machine, but spinning backwards in very cool way. Matthias, you see, holding on, no! It's okay. This is why you had 3 minutes, but you can already see only a minute 20 left on the clock. Matthias has those long combinations, and that is the risk you take.
So Matthias with his bars backwards, stepping over. He's got to make sure he keeps his head in the game, and right there he's putting his waffle sole right under the bottom tube of his foot, just holding that end up of the frame. And look at this, Matthias now stepping over. Look at the foot on the pedal. Perfect positioning with the pedal. You see him actually rotated around potentially to step back off. Let's see where it goes with his left pedal.
Yes! Huge switch for Matthias right there. Oh, just missing the link. This is uncharacteristic. We're so used to seeing Matthias Danois have almost flawless runs out here at the FWS, including what he did in his semifinals run.
It is, but also his trick selection out here is uncharacteristic. He's putting in a lot of new material. He's been putting a lot of time in riding. Yes, up on top of the frame right there. Going into that spin. Let's see, the bike is tweaked over to the side, one-handed mega spin, but look at how leaned over the frame was. That was not just vertically up and down. He had that beautiful silhouette, tweaking it to its max potential.
Matthias has 10 seconds left here, gonna get a couple tricks, couple links and spins out, and that's gonna do it for the Parisian.
Big ups to Matthias Danois. You see the energy, you also see the French flag painted on his face.
I was for the World Cup earlier today. They were all the Frenchies out here from the FWS were supporting the French-Croatia World Cup football match back home, and they did take home the gold. But we're gonna have to wait and see what the judges say. Is France going to stay on top of the board like they did in the semifinals?
Well, France has 2 opportunities to do that, because after Matthias, another Frenchman, our top qualifier, is going to ride.
You see right there, the French-Canadian on top, the score to beat Jean-William Prévost with an 85.66 right now.
As we're going to look at some highlights from Matthias Danois. Again, we had a couple touchdowns, but I got to give Matthias a lot of credit. Pushing his riding, he is not sandbagging at all. Again, we talked about his use of the floor, minimal energy in between links, didn't waste any space, just a lot of control. Matthias is a natural showman. A lot of riders will ride to supplement their income doing shows or performances in public spaces. Matthias, though, just naturally connects with the crowd. Look at that, the bike is completely vertical, and then you can see his foot manipulation right there on the pedal. He had that set up, and then you actually saw him reach down, tweak the pedal to wind up adjusting his foot placement so that he could get into the future combo. And now here we go, going up the mega spin, foot right up on the frame, but I want you to see how when he takes it off, he tweaks the bike over. Look how much upper body strength that takes to have your bike almost at a 45-degree angle. You can see Matthias right there. He put a lot of energy into his run and a lot of focus. So we're taking a look on the screen. Will it be enough for Matthias? An 84.66. That means that Jean-William Prévost is going to hold on to that top spot with an 85.66. 1 point difference between the 2 riders.
Wow, and Matthias giving love to the next rider up. This is his mentor, the man who needs no introduction for the FWS. But if you guys are watching us in the Flatland World Series out here This is Alex Jumelon, the first and only rider to compete in every single one of the FWS editions since its inception, and he is still on top, redeveloping his style time and time and year again. He has his own camp where he's coaching the youth to do flatland in Montpellier, and he's out here doing it for the finals.
Alex Jumelon is flatland. The passion not only runs through the blood of his body, but also through his entire family. You could follow his Instagram at Alex Jumelon, and you can see some of the coolest photos and content of him riding. He posted a picture of his wife, Elodie, yesterday, where she was watching in the semifinals. Right now in the final, she is cheering on her husband as he is doing these front wheel focus tricks, and look at the way that he wound up putting his foot under the chainring right there, finding that balance point. We are seeing some different tricks from Jumelon. Yes! Jumelon also being cheered on right now by FWS founder Hervé-André Benoit. They are lifelong friends, and we've got the cross-legged up on the front wheel, hopping right in with his left foot on pedal, right foot scuffing on that front position. Take note, no brakes on his bike. Yes!
Alex Jumelon getting those links. And this is typical Jumelon fashion, showing us tricks we haven't seen yet in this series. Always bringing something new to the table and fighting down to the wire. The last competitor that you're going to see out here in the Flatland Finals.
Jumelon also our #1 scorer in the semifinals, so if anyone can knock Privot off the top, it is Jumelon. And right now he is firing back. These are two heavyweights of BMX just throwing big swings in the ring. And Jumelon right now connecting with each one of these front wheel combinations. Jumelon half bar spin, traveling backwards in a circle. Look at that. We talk about the goal always being to roll, and Jumelon getting that pump. You see him keep looking off to the stage. That's the clock he is checking out as we are getting into our final 60 seconds.
Jumelon is on to a near perfect run here as he seems to be getting so many links, as well adding new tricks we have not yet seen. Yes, look at that 720 G-turn on the front wheel in competition. This is incredible. 39 seconds left on the clock right now. Alex Jumelon on fire.
Look at the position right there. Bike was completely up and down. His family going crazy right now. His two boys saying, "Come on, Dad, let's dig deep for our final 18 seconds."
Jumelon, 15 seconds, doing multiple G-turns.
Oh.
Half bar spin reversed.
Phew. Full bar
5
spin.
seconds left.
Yes.
And a decade finishing it off, Alex Jumelon. A run for the books out here in Edmonton.
Yes, you saw right. That was Terry Adams running out, another Flatland legend, giving his friend a big hug. Hervé-André Benoit coming out. You also see Vicki Gomes, and right here you see Matthias Dan Dois coming out, along with Raphael Chiquette, giving big hugs and a lot of respect. Even though this is a world-class competition, all of our riders are so hyper-focused on their riding, and when they are in the ring, they are doing their thing. But you can see the family love, unity, and bond. Up, it looks like it might be happening again. Sometimes after the Flatland Finals, it turns into a ginormous party on our stage.
You see there, though, Alex Jumelon's score, the 85.66. That's still what we're going to have to wait and see. Let's take a look at some of the top links from Jumelon's run. As you see here, adding some amazing tricks. Has such a unique way of spinning on the bike.
Ryan, I believe you meant that was Jean-William Privot's score is an 85.66. So
yes.
that is going to be the score to beat as we are looking at some of the perfection executed, some might say flawlessly, by Alex Jumelon. There is a look at his beautiful family saying, "Go, Dad, go, come on." Look at the front wheel just rotating around. I know obviously if it was up to his family, they'd be saying, we are giving you first place, but the fate is going to be in the hands of our 3 judges as we are looking at that completely vertical position bike. You see the bars spin around, and a look right here backwards, finishing up with that brakeless decade smash into the pedals. Jumelin looks very pleased with his performance. It definitely, though, is not up to him. There you see our FIS founder, Hervé André Benoit, coming out, giving his brother a big hug. There is the camaraderie with Vicki Gomes. But the score to beat, you see it in the screen, 85.66. Will it be enough?
Jumelin holding on. He takes the lead, 91.33. Alex Jumelin is your winner from the FIS 2018 edition in Edmonton.
Wow, Jumelin bringing it home to France. A very big day for the Frenchman. Not only here at our UCI BMX Freestyle Flatland World Cup.
The French flag is up back home in France, but as well up here in Canada. Alex Jumelin doing it and bringing home the gold.
Big day of riding. You see the emotion right here. You see the excitement. And most of all, you see the passion for Alex Jumelin.
Alex Jumelin defying the odds. We're going to go down, have a little word with Mr. Jumelin.
Okay, at the third place of the BMX final, make some noise for Mathias Dandois! Third place for Mathias Dandois. Yes, one more time Edmonton. At the second place, make some noise for Jean-William Prévost. Thank you so much, Jean-Will. Go on the stage. Thank you so much, Edmonton. You're killing it today. From the heart, thank you so much, Edmonton. Keep the positive vibes and keep your smile, Edmonton. Okay, on the podium, Jean-Will. On the podium. Yes, second place, Jean-William Prévost. Yes, boy, yes, yes, yes. And by now, you know it, Edmonton, the winner of the FIS World Series 2018 Edmonton, Flatland, Alex Jumelin! And we were champion. Such a nice podium for this final. Make some noise to all the riders to get involved. It's not finished, Edmonton. There is the game of bike just after. And make some noise to all the riders! Let's get this party started tonight. Okay, just a few words with Alex Jumelin. So can you tell me more about the feeling you got today? You just won the final. We won the World Cup this night. Give me more, Alex.
Hey, Edmonton, thank you so much. You guys killing it. Thanks for the good vibe, the positive energy. Make some noise for yourself, Edmonton. I want to thank all the riders, finalists or not, everybody. I know you spent hours and hours on your bike getting ready for contest. Thanks to the judges and of course, Quet and my man Dadu over there. The DJ Dadu is always here to giving the best song for the best motivation. I love you guys. See you next year.
Thank you so much. And one more thanks, please, Edmonton. Let me hear you! Okay, here we go. Game of fees. Stay with us. Game of fees.
And there you have it. Alex Jumelon, the 2018 FIS World Series Edmonton champion for the UCI BMX Freestyle Flatland World Cup here.
What a competition. Things are heating up to a rolling boil as we travel around the world. And let's take a look for the history books in Edmonton, stop number 3, Alex Jumelon, France, right on top. The only score in the 90s, 91.33 to be exact. A lot of respect for the Canadian in number 2. That is your defending 2017 champion, Jean-William Privot, with an 85.66. And then 1 point behind him is the other Frenchman, Matthias Dandois, with an 84.66. Much love to Kevin Nikolsky, riding with a broken finger that happened moments before the contest with an 82.83. The Japanese were out in full effect. Moto Sasaki leading the way. Benjamin Hudson coming down from Santiago, Chile with great riding. The legend of Vicki Gomes out there, and you got to give a lot of props to our backwards rider from Japan, Hidenori Ishizaki. Big ups, big finals, and that was an unbelievable one for the history books, Ryan. Well, let's take a look at some of the highlights right here from our winning rider. This is Alex Jumelon. Kept it front wheel focused that we know Jumelon's riding for. There was that boomerang that I talked about, but yet he definitely put some new tricks in the mix. I love the fact that he balanced on top, that he balanced with his foot holding up onto the sprocket. But you can see right here on the front wheel, just that balance point, the slight little scuff to just stay in the zone.
Alex Jumelon defying it time and time again, but so amazing that he was able to hold his composure, stay on, and end up the first rider out in the 90s that we had today. So close the whole entire series to taking away that win, but Matthias Dandois not making it to the run that he wanted. It was all about Alex Jumelon down to the wire, seeing who would be able to take away that title from J-Dub, and it was the only man left, Alex Jumelon. An absolutely amazing final and a spectacle that we had out here in Edmonton and beautiful Louise McKinney Riverfront Park. Just a big thanks again to the entire city of Edmonton, as well as the province of Alberta and Explore Edmonton for welcoming us back here to Edmonton for the 3rd time in a row. We had such an amazing experience bringing the FIS to Canada, and we are super happy for the future and the next editions to come.
Yeah, we want to give all the love. City of Edmonton, you guys know how to blend nature with the city, the perfect recipe for action sports. Also, all of our fans around the world, without you, this would not be possible. When we come to a city near you, we want to see you. FeastWorldSeries.com to find out where our stops will be and the dates. But Ryan, that was an unbelievable final.
It was absolutely incredible, but let's take a look now at the overall ranking and see how this upset the differences in scores.
You can see the energy with all of our athletes there, but as we put the numbers up on the board, Matthias Dandois is still going to be in that first place, 2 firsts and a third, 28,200 points. Jumelin with that first. He's in second now with 26,700 points. And Vicki Gomes holding strong in third, followed by Moto Sasaki and Mr. Privot.
Pardon me, I have to say this is the tightest points race that we have from all the FIS World Series battles going on. This Flatland Series, you see the top 4 riders are all in the 20,000s, but the closest matching up between Matthias Dandois and Alex Jumelin. It's going to go down to the next 2 stops to see really where they're going to be able to take off on each other. It's going to be a heavy one, and I'm really excited to see what they're able to bring to the table.
Yeah, I can't wait to see as well. I want to send all my love to the entire Flatland community around the world, but also to all of our fans who came out in Edmonton to cheer on. Much love and respect.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us out here for the UCI BMX Flatland World Cup Finals. This was us live in Edmonton. Thank you so much. Hope for you guys to join us again. I'm Ryan Meyer and Daryl Now, and on behalf of the rest of the FIS organization, thank you again, Canada.